Order filled. 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 Order filled.
All right, so I think I sorted it out now, so it should be coming through with audio now. All right, thanks for that confirmation. That definitely makes me feel a lot better. It is a little bit weird because there's a delay from my end to what actually comes out on YouTube. Hopefully at the end of this week I'll have all the bugs worked out. So my plan is basically to live stream from 8 to midnight, um, and then put together a little highlight reel of what the night was for the next day. So we'll have to see how many trades end up actually coming through for the night. Hopefully we'll get a couple more in. Usually there's 3 or 4 that will set up. So I don't know if you're watching this on your phone or on your computer screen, but can you see like my P&L and stuff on your screen, like all the numbers? Or is it too small? All right, thank you for that. I try to keep it real. I don't want to be on here just to say, look how great I am and look at my Lamborghini. It's really just about the trader's journey. All right, copy that. I'll try to see what I can work out tomorrow to try to make things a little bit more readable. Maybe it's my bit rate that's being uploaded or the size, stuff like that. Yeah, copy that on the eyeballs. I hear you on that one. I can't even find my glasses. I've been missing them for like 4 days. So, yep, I'm feeling that. Looks like it wants to come back down and hit the target now that it's stopped me out. Of course, it works like that always. That's great, man. I hope you make some money on it. It's got a lot of room to go if it wants to go. That's for sure. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Every time I try to like do things quick or hit home runs or anything like that, it never works out. And if it does, it's only in the beginning just to give me confidence, and then it catches up to me. Yeah, let's look at it in some different time frames here. I like the DCA thing. I don't like how some prop firms don't let you DCA. I think DCAing is a part of trading. Like it's a great way to build a position and reduce risk while you do it. On the 780 for the profit target, I mean, definitely has room to get there. The only thing I would personally look at is the 30-minute candle and the 1 hour candle. They're both going to be closing in 15 minutes. So I would probably be more cautious on my trade once those are about to close. Because we got a red 1 hour candle if it closes down in that area. And then we have a 30-minute candle that's we're in right now, which is also red. So the question is, what does a retracement look like when those close? Because a lot of these candles retrace. You can go back in time and see all the retracements. So what will happen when this one closes? Will it retrace, or will it be one of the rare candles that just breaks out? And if it retraces, is it going to retrace up to your stop, kind of thing? So that's what I'd be mindful of in about 15 minutes. It's definitely at the bottom end of the support area right now. So there's a good chance it could break out to the downside, even if it's just to shake the tree and create some liquidity, which may hit your target. Yeah, you're welcome, Ryan Brian. I'm glad to see you're still in the game. It's definitely not an easy game to master, that's for sure. Yeah, whenever I look at the DCA thing, which I will be doing with this strategy once my account, my DLL gets higher. But the hardest part to it is accounting for your risk. Like if you can only lose $3,000 in a day, and then if you decide you're gonna, that really means the most you can risk on a trade is $3,000 in a lot of cases if you're on a one-to-one, just for example. But if you want to add to your position to DC, sorry, I got a weird thing on my phone here, real quick. If you want to add to your position, then you can't risk the full 3,000 on that trade. You have to save some of it. So let's say you save half of it, but then you get into that trade and it goes and hits your target. Well, then you only made that 1,500 if it's a risk one to make one. And then when you do get the chance to add to your position on a DCA, then of course you're making a lot more money on that trade. But the question is, how many trades go in your favor right out of the gate, and how many allow you to add to your position? And then at the end of the month, which way makes you more money? Just going all in with the 3,000 on that single trade, or saving half of it and allowing that DCA to happen. So with this strategy, I looked at both ways of doing it, and it doesn't. It kind of almost is a wash. I make a little bit more money by just going in and not DCAing. But once my DLL is higher with Topstep, because once I get to a funded level, then they'll increase my DLL if I want them to. So once that happens, then I'll start DCAing, because from a psychological standpoint, I don't do well if I'm dropping like $5,000 onto a trade. That's gonna just give me like trader paralysis. I'm gonna make bad decisions. So at that point, a DCA works out great for me, because then I can still have the same profit potential without seeing a $5,000 risk on the trade. Looks like NQ is definitely finding some support here. The question is it going to build some energy and break that support, or is it going to be a while before this move heads back down? It kind of just keeps bouncing between that newfound support and that resistance area. Let's go back to the 30-minute. Yeah, it still looks like it's got room to the downside. And it's kind of broken its little trend line. But definitely still in a support area. Yeah, you might just have to wait another couple candles. All right, this flat line down here wants to stay flat, and it wants to come back down and start to poke through there. I'm going to jump back in short. As long as this stays flat right here. If it doesn't stay flat, doesn't mean it's not going to go down. It just doesn't fit my setup. Do you have a calculator like this that you use, Ryan Bryan, that you use for futures market? Like for me, my risk, if I were to get it back into this trade, if this breaks the short side and continues, would be a 25-point risk. So that tells me that it's $1,000. If it was a 30-point risk, then I can look and see it's 1,200 and I have too many contracts. So I can either reduce that or switch over to MNQ and then see what my risk is. Do you have anything like that you use? Oh, nice, dude. Congratulations on making some money. All right, I'll have to put together a thing so I can send you a link so you can download this for free. And if you want to use it, great. And if you don't, then stick with doing it in your head. I can't do that. My brain is too damaged to be able to do math like that. But I'll send you a link to be able to get this for free so that you can play around with it if you want. This also has my backtest blocks in here where I use like the strategy I'm using now. As long as you have Microsoft Excel, you can use it. So this is how I do all my backtesting. I put all my numbers in here so that at the bottom it'll calculate the percentages for me. This is not per trade. This is per reward. Over here is per trade. So 69.49% is what I'm running right now with this current strategy. And then if I were to copy trade this across 5 accounts and I'm risking 1,500, I can see kind of what the numbers would end up equaling in the back test. Of course, actual trading results are never the same as the back test, but at least I get a good idea of what it looks like. And then it can tell me, at the end of the time, like in 30 days, is this really profitable for me? And if it's not going to be profitable enough from a psychological standpoint, I know I'm going to casino trade. So it has to be worth trading, or else I'm just going to casino trade, which is not good. But the backtest blocks I use here, and then I'll add like the total for my backtest will be here. So I'll add it down here. And then as the nights go on, like tonight, I already have one red trade in. So there'll be a one going into there. And then I track my current progress, and then I can look at it against my backtest and then see if this number is falling, and if it's falling too much, like if this wants to get down to like 55%, then yeah, I could still make money, but it's going to be so slow, it's not going to be worth it to me. So I need to hit pause on that strategy and wait, try to find a new one, or wait till a different season. Maybe it's just a short-term not working kind of thing, and then it'll start working again. So I'll just kind of keep an eye on it, but I'll hit pause and I can track my progress with this and see when my strategy is starting to degrade and I need to try something different. So the backtest blocks in here are pretty cool. And then my scaling ladder, I can come over here and do one by dollars, or I can do it by percentage so that I can properly scale up and down my account. I don't want to just scale up. I also want to scale down if things aren't working. So this will kind of let me track what's going on there. So right now we're at basically 0 until the end of tonight. Actually, no, we're at 11. I do last night 1,200. So, but I have to finish filling these in for the new setup that you're watching right now. But yeah, I'll send you a link to this, and then you can have it and play around with it, see what you think, and maybe that will help you out a little bit. Yeah, sounds good. I'll take your email. Or I can give you mine if you want to shoot me one and just let me know that you know where you came from. It's Eric at 2020daytrader.com. Yep, no trade for me yet. This needed to stay flat for me to be able to jump in. Could set up a long trade here if this one stayed flat, but it didn't quite. So just continue waiting. Although this might start its next leg down, but it'll have to go without me. It's not my strategy. All right, perfect. Yeah, I got your email. So I'll send that over to you either tonight after I'm done with the stream or tomorrow sometime in the afternoon. Yeah, it's always hard when you're like just sitting there and you're watching the market move without being able to participate in it. It's like, oh, I want to get in. Maybe it's going up. Maybe it's going down. Let me just 50-50 this thing. It's hard to just sit there and wait patiently for that one setup. I have a friend of mine that what he did with his strategies, he made it to where he trades every morning at 9:35, and that's his window. He gets in one trade at 9:35, picks a direction based on the chart, places his one trade, shuts it down, and walks away. This way he can't be tempted. And so far it's working good for him. He's been taking his regular payouts. Yeah, it almost fully retraced that 1 hour candle before it. We got at least half of it. So now it's going back red, so we'll see what direction it's going to choose. This is a support area though. So we'll see how long it takes to pick a direction. But it's a big support area. I mean, it could come all the way down here, so there's still a lot of room to the downside, but you just never know. A lot of room to the upside too. It's so easy in trades like this to be able to pick a direction and then find confirmation bias to do it. That's the hard part about trading. It's you can make an argument for every direction when you look at the chart. And that's where discipline, I guess, comes into play. Because if you have a strategy with good probabilities or probabilities that work for you, and then you can just repeat that thing and that's it, and not worry about all the other stuff that's like, oh, look, it's going up. Look at the trend. Look at the support area. Look at this. Doesn't matter. This is the system. This is the strategy. These are the probabilities, and I'm good with it. And if it changes, then I'll hit pause and make another one. Yeah, I might look at doing that with affiliate codes. I know Apex has sent me some messages asking me if I'd be an affiliate. I know Topstep's not doing affiliates anymore, and a bunch of other props are still doing affiliates. I just wanted to be able to talk about them without being without people thinking that I'm saying a good thing about them or a negative thing based on affiliates. But I think where I'm at right now, I think it would be good to get some affiliates, and I'll also say the negative things if they're negative, and the positive for the positive regardless. And hopefully everybody watching will be able to see the truth of what I'm saying, or at least my opinion of that truth. But yeah, it would be a good idea. I did set up an affiliate with TraderView. Should be a link in the description. I'll start showcasing that later on once I get back into a live account. What I found with Topstep, I don't know if Apex and others are do the same thing, but like right now I'm in a combine, and once this combine goes into an XFA, I don't have any of the data that's over here. So on Topstep X, can go to my performance stats here, and then I can see, I have all this data, which is great to have. But once this combine is finished, I won't have this data anymore. And then when I get to a express funded account, once that express funded account is done and I move to live, this data goes away. So, and then it's the live account data. And if I want this to carry with me, I have to do it in a third party software. And even the live account, like if I lose my live account, then my data is gone again. So if I want to be able to hold on to it, I also need to put that in a third party live account, or not live account, but a third party account. And the data that TraderView has is pretty awesome. Like it's a lot more user friendly than what's here on Topstep X. I mean, I like this platform, this snapshot here, but I can't really run like studies of my information like I can with TraderView. So the TraderView, I'll start showcasing it once I get into my funded account and I start using it more on a daily basis. I'm going to show you how it works, but it's pretty sweet. And depending on the broker, it can just direct import from that broker. And if your broker's not affiliated with them, then you have to kind of like translate or download from your trade platform. So like Topstep X, I can download. It's like an Excel doc that's got all my trades and all the information on the trades. And then from there, I can upload that into TraderView, and then I can get, my personal trade chart. So my trading, journey will look like this, kind of like they do on the Topstep dashboard, where you have that chart there. But it comes with a lot more information, and then you can kind of like filter stuff to see time frames and different things that you're doing to see what's working better. All right, maybe this is going to break to the downside, but not a trade for me. Yeah, that's the key, right? Is creating your strategy and your trade plan when you're not emotional. That's why, man, I did this so many times. Like one thing I really like about Topstep is if I go into my settings over here, they have this, you can put your risk settings in here and then you can lock them out. So, because what happened is I would set my risk settings here, like my DLL and all the different stuff. I put in how many trades I'm allowed to take in a night because I don't want to overtrade, which I find myself revenge trading sometimes. But then what I would do is I would come in here and be like, oh no, I don't want to get locked out for the night. So I would change my settings right before they would lock me out. And it was just a spiral. So when I'm not emotional, right when the market opens at 6 o'clock, if I'm around my computer, as soon as I can get to the computer after the market opens, I always come in here and verify my risk settings and I hit the lockout. And now I can't do anything about it. Once I hit my DLL for the day or 5 trades, that I'm done, and down here it's telling me I got 4 trades remaining. So it's pretty sweet. It's been a game changer to help me stay focused and not like get on tilt. And if I do get on tilt, it doesn't let me go very far. Yeah, true on the affiliates, that's for sure. I would hate to represent a company who I thought was terrible. It's so crazy. There's so many of them that have been popping up lately over the last like year and a half. They seem like they come and go. But Apex, Topstep, and a few other ones have been staying strong. And it's kind of nice they have their own little things so that trader can pick what fits their strategy best and then go with it. Like Topstep used to have a really good live program. It was awesome. And now I don't know. Maybe it's good if you're not in any kind of hurry because I don't know if you heard, but like basically if you have $10,000 and they switch you to live with the $10,000, they're taking 8,000 of that and putting that in like in a lockup, and you only get 2,000 of it to trade with. So if you take a $2,000 loss, you blow up your account. But then they added another thing where instead of that $2,000 loss, if you only have 1,000 left in your account, they just close it, send you the 1,000 you have left, but that 8,000 that was in lockup, you never get it. So you actually have to take your $2,000, don't lose 1,000 or you're going to get it closed out, and then slowly grow that. And then as you grow that, they start unlocking the money they put aside for you. And then once you've made enough money in that live account, then you get all that money you had put aside back in your account to take a payout or use it as a buffer or whatever. Not a big fan of that. I feel like if you're in the express funded account and you earn, those earnings, and they decide when they move you to live. You don't get to pick. So if they decide to pull you over, you should still be have access to that, at least as a buffer. If they want to say you can't take a payout on it until you've earned so much money, fine, but at least leave that in your account as a buffer because you've earned that buffer. So it's kind of a bummer because we know we have win streaks and we have losing streaks. So what if I'm on a win streak and then they take my buffer and they lock it up in a vault, and now I go into a losing streak and I don't have that buffer. So now to trade responsibly, I have to trade with such small risk. It's going to take forever to grow the account from there. It's almost worth, depending on what happens. Like if they were to move me over to live with like a $10,000 account now, it's almost worth just blowing that account up and going back into a express funded account or combine and all the way through, because to grow a $1,000 room of risk is such a small, you're only risking like $100 a trade. It's going to take a really long time to get back all of your money. So I don't like that about Topstep's new live account on paper, but once I get there, we'll see what actually happens and what it's actually like. Yeah, exactly. It makes you almost wonder if the prop firms are all having meetings, trying to figure out, if we do this, what are you guys going to do, so we can all kind of work together to, maximize profits and make it harder on the traders, kind of thing. They say it's for your own good and it's to help you be more responsible. Like all the rules are for your own good, but in the end, I think they actually benefit the prop firm more. And I get it; they have to stay in business as well. I just think if you're going to a live account, it should be a different ball game. Like you should be able to trade like a real trader with all the earnings you've made to that point. Yeah, and Topstep's now starting to offer accounts with consistency rules, something that they didn't used to have. So we'll see if they're gonna test the waters with what they've just put out, and then eventually move over to consistency rules like everybody else. It'll be interesting to see the evolution that they're gonna do with that. Yeah, finally looks like it's gonna start to break to the downside here. And that'll be for somebody else to make that money. And yeah, with Apex, at least you can get 5 accounts, which is nice because I think copy trading a bunch of accounts, like I was not into it until you all kept on saying I should look into it. And then looking at it from a psychological standpoint, it's nice to risk $200 in a trade and not see that you're risking $1,000 on it. There's definitely a nice psychological win there. And with those rules with Apex in their live accounts, if they allow you to have multiple accounts, like 5, then it's still great. Topstep, you can only have 1 live account. Yeah, it sounds like a pretty good evolution with Apex to be able to do that. Yeah, I like that plan too. I'm kind of doing the same thing now that I'm back. I have this one combine right now, and then the plan is to get it funded probably in the next week or two. And then once it's funded, then I'll trade that one funded account, take my first payout, which will allow me to take up to $5,000 in the first payout. And then I'll use that part of that payout to then go ahead and add 4 more accounts, get those funded, and then I'll start trading this one again because Topstep's got a habit of moving you over to live pretty fast now. So, and I don't want to get moved over with a small account. I want to get moved over with a big enough account that when they do that 80% reduction, that it won't really matter. So I'm hoping that by adding the other 4 accounts to this, that I'll be able to grow them fast enough. Not without, like, I'm not going to try to hit home runs or anything like that. I just hope the timing works out that I can trade my thing, grow them fast enough, and maybe get a couple more payouts out of the 5 before I get moved over to live, and still have a big enough account that the 80% reduction doesn't affect my strategy too much. I wish this trade back here that I took just barely hit my target. It's too bad it didn't get out. But sometimes you look at the candlesticks, you don't realize how fast that tail formed. Like, it spikes in there and spikes right back up. It's not like it sat there for a little while and let you think about it. Like, oh, should I take my trade off? I got 30 seconds before this trade's gonna move. It just goes there, bounces real quick. So a lot of times you can't even catch those quick spikes unless you have a limit order or a stop order in for it to get triggered when it gets hit. But it is too bad that that's so close to a green trade and I didn't get it. Yeah, I think once I take a decent chunk out of Topstep from whether it's a live account or my express funded account, I'm going to then dump that money into a Ninja Trader because they're like a low cost, not a low cost, I want to say like a discount futures broker. Like with Thinkorswim, I might need $15,000 to have one contract of a mini, whereas over at Ninja Trader, it might be $500. Yeah, exactly. On the trades, you're always going to leave money on the table or give some back, and I would rather leave it on the table because giving it back from a psychological standpoint, it puts me on tilt. But if I just leave money on the table, then I'm good with it. That sounds awesome with that Apex setup. I'll probably look into that once I do get live with Topstep. That'll be fun. And my strategy works out pretty good for their rules. You know, having the consistency rule that Apex has, I can still trade that pretty good with my strategy. I just want to try to squeeze more out of my trades. At the end of the day, I'll just take what the setup gives me and then call it a day. And then I would easily let me manage that consistency rule. And to be able to do that across 20 accounts, I can't imagine. Just like make $100 across 20 accounts and then go make $1,000 across 20 accounts in a day. That would be insane. It is tempting to jump into this thing short. I'm not going to do it for sure. That would be like what I would do. I'd be tempted. I would jump in short right here at this support area, and then it would rip higher without me. I mean, I'd get blown out right up here. But first, it would dip down just below here to say, look, we're going down, and then turn around and then rip higher. I'm surprised this 30-minute, though. We'll see if this 30-minute wants to retrace or not first. If it did retrace and then want to turn over, then it might be a different story, because then I might get a setup down here. But right now, no go. Does look like a big M pattern kind of, though, out of that little one that broke right there. Now we have a bigger one. All right, we'll see. If this does wants to start spill down here and then wants to bounce back up and then head down, that should trigger a trade for me down here, and that should be pretty sweet. Then I'll recover my night. Be good to go. But if it just wants to chop inside of here, it kind of gets scary. But either way, I'll just trade my setup because that's a probability, regardless of how I'm feeling about the way the chart looks. When the trade triggers, the trade triggers. Yeah, and the chasing. I've been burned many times with that. I'm like, oh, I want to jump in. Everybody's making so much money without me. And it's almost like it knows that, like, it's designed to like trick the masses to want to get in at that point and then switch directions on everybody instantly. Sometimes it feels like it's like within $1 of getting in. Like, you almost wonder if all the books that are out there and all the stuff that's on the internet, all the trading information that says support, resistance, channels, like all these things is just training all the sheep so the ranchers could harvest us. That's what it feels like, right? Like, you're supposed to get in on the break of support. Okay. And then you try it, and every single time, like 9 out of 10 times, you lose your shirt. Yeah, exactly. Like you just said, like we're in a sim account and it knows. And I think it's because there's like obvious stuff. Like people just that's what the traders are taught. Like there's a support area right here, and then it broke that support area, so you're supposed to get in. And right now it works, right? Like if you would have got in on the break of this, you would have went for a nice ride to the downside. But how many times does that happen? I think our brain remembers like the good more than the bad. And maybe, this type of support level, when it breaks, maybe it happens, half the time, but we end up losing more than we're making, or maybe it doesn't even win that much. So we end up losing more than we're making. So in the end, it basically slowly bleeds us out. But then again, too, I guess if you risk like $5 in this trade and your account has $2,000 of room, and you just jumped in short and said, I'm just going to let it ride till the end of the day and see what happens. Maybe a little easier because then you can have room for it to breathe, and then maybe you can still finish in profit. But it's all about having that strategy, like you said earlier. Yeah, they definitely trade a lot different when they have. Oh, maybe I have a setup here. All right, let me calculate this real quick. It must be hard, like when you're trying to trade and move, hundreds of contracts, and you don't want to have slippage. It's a whole different ball game to be able to do that. Let's see. It might be getting short. I don't even really want to get short down here, but I'm supposed to do it, so I'm gonna do it. C7, 4-7. So about 15 points. So it's about 15 on the chart, but then I got to look at the spread as well. And the spread right now is about $1 in, dollar out. So it'd be about 17 with 2 contracts. So I can do 3 and be in the safe side. All right, we'll see if this thing wants to switch while it's still flat. Yeah, for a little while I put together a strategy with gold that I thought was going to be like major home run strategy, trading on the 1-minute chart at night. But then the problem was the spread on gold was so big that if I was trying to get a 5-point move and it was going to cost me $1 in and $1 out plus commissions, then in reality I was risking $7 in move to make $3 in move. So I would almost have to have like a 2.5 or 3-to-1 setup just to make it worth it. It was pretty crazy. I was like, oh, this is a good 2-to-1 strategy in gold. But that spread alone on that 1-minute candle made it not worth it. All right, looks like no short setup. It's going to play around going up. Almost looks like a cup and handle forming here. See what it does. But no setup for me. Yeah, it's a good idea. Just letting it do a little, let it breathe, or let it do that little pullback, and then you don't have to eat that spread cost. I was looking at SpaceX too, and that was IPO, and I was like, oh, I should jump into SpaceX and get a big position in that thing. But then after doing all the research on the company, which I do like SpaceX, I was like, no, low float, this and that, all the different stuff. I'm like, oh, wait. Would have been nice though if you could have got in and got what the prices you wanted and then captured 25 or 30 points on it. Would have been pretty sweet. But now it's all the way back down again. We'll see if SpaceX wants to come down to the $100 level. I might start trying to accumulate in January once all the lockups start to expire and everybody can start dumping their shares. Then I might start to look for to accumulate a little SpaceX, see where it goes. I like swing trading though. Swing trading's a lot easier for me. I have plenty of time to think about what I'm doing. I don't feel as much FOMO. There's no like rush, no order entry mistakes. It's just a lot easier. But the profit potential with day trading is much higher. Yeah, Ryan, Brian, I'm sure once I get into back into a live account, especially even for my first time around, I still remember it became a very different, like, you know how it is, but then when you're trading in the sim, you're just so used to getting the prices that you want. You're so used to things happening like instantly and all that. And then you get into live account and you put an order in and it blows right past your order, or you don't get the fill you thought you were going to get. It's just like a lot of different stuff. And all of a sudden, all the results that you had been getting, those results become very different. Sometimes for the better and sometimes for the worse, big time. You might have a DLL set up for $2,000 and then you lose $4,000 that day, and you're like, how could that happen? Well, because it jumped over your stop. Gaps and all that stuff are really make a big deal, but just even fast moving stuff. Oh, that's good to hear about the consistency rule. And if you go over, you just kind of like Topstep with their evaluation right now. If I were to, on day one, make say $6,000, I have to make 9 to pass. So and it's got a 50% consistency rule. And if I made 6,000, they just kind of add it to the end, so that you end up passing without more than 50% per day. So they don't close your account or anything. You just have to make more. So that it sounds like Apex is the same with the funded. You just have to make more money so that it can equal itself out. That's pretty cool. Yep, had a little cup and handle right here, looks like, and now we got the breakout. See where it goes. Still waiting for a setup. Yeah, it almost might be worth risking it with those Apex evals. It's like, especially when they have like their discounts where you get an account for like $20. Buy like 4 or 5 of them, and if you just you go, you like for me, I know I'm gonna have at least a green trade every 3 or 4 trades. So if I took that huge discount that they offer sometimes, bought 5 accounts, and if I had to blow up 3 of them in a week or in a couple of days to get to one that passes me right away, there's a chance I'll pass on that first day. It's almost worth it. Only downside is you don't get to practice your strategy with their rules by passing it in a single day, but still might be pretty cool. That's smart for Apex. I guess that's one good thing about a lot of these prop firms popping up, is starting to make the rest of the firms out there, think a little bit more about what their customers really want and need, and then finding a balance so that they can still stay in business at the same time as supporting the trader. So I'm glad to see the Apex is evolving a lot too. I feel like Topstep started out to be the most flexible, and they're kind of going the other direction. They're seeing what other prop firms are doing and becoming a little bit more, more difficult, I guess. Like before Topstep, you could make $200,000 in an evaluation account and take those payouts. And now they've maxed it out. You got 5 payouts at $5,000. So the most you'll make on an evaluation account now is 25 grand. And, no more gigantic payouts from evaluation accounts. So yeah, the game's definitely changing. Yeah, on that hedging note, so a little PSA for anybody trading with Topstep. I got flagged a while ago with Topstep for hedging, and you get a pop up on your window that says that you're hedging, you need to close your positions, etc. Then you get an email from them saying that you're not supposed to hedge. If you want to trade, you have to go to this page, sign your name here, agreeing that you're not going to do it anymore. Like those, it becomes a thing. But the reason why it happened is I had a couple accounts, two accounts, and I remember a long time ago hitting flat and all, like years ago, hitting flat and all. And I think I was trading with Ninja Trader. I don't remember now. Maybe I was with Topstep X when it first came out. And it closed out all my positions. And I was like, oh no, I didn't want it to close all my positions, just the one that was on my screen right here. So when I got flagged for hedging, I had two positions open in the NQ, one position in NQ on one account because of the size of that account, and the other account I had MNQ, again because of a smaller account. And then I hit flat and all because it was going the wrong direction. I just wanted to get out of the trade, and I wanted to reverse my position. So I hit flat and all, and then I bought to get back in. I think I was short. Hit flat and all, and then hit buy to get back in. And then I was going to bounce over to my other account and hit buy to get back in as well, thinking that flattened all positions across the both accounts. But it didn't. It only flattened the position I had on my chart, and then it did not flatten the position of my other account. So when I then reversed my position on this chart, it looked like I was hedging. It looked like I was long in NQ and short in MNQ. So I got flagged there. So if you're trading with multiple accounts with Topstep and you're going to hit flat and all or any of those things or reverse your position even, make sure that you gave it enough time if you're copy trading that all of your accounts get flattened. And if you're not copy trading, that you go and flatten, make sure all of your accounts have been flattened before you change a direction. Because even copy trading, if there's a split second between the accounts of exiting your position. So if I were to just hit flat and buy or reverse, you could be at risk of getting caught hedging if there's any kind of delay in sequence, because their system is pretty fast about seeing that. I mean, as soon as they hit buy, I got the pop up that said hedging. So something to think about if you're trading with Topstep X. But without that, though, like hedging, when you really think about it, I wonder how you make money hedging with the futures market like this. I mean, I get it if you're going to go long and say, I don't know, Amazon, and then you're going to buy some options, betting that Amazon might go down as a hedge to your long position or vice versa. I can kind of see how that might work. But just to go long NQ one account and short NQ another account, I don't know. Maybe if you're trading news, like a breakout, like news is coming out, and then you're going to hedge one short and hedge one long. I don't know. And like one's got a stop of $100, another one's got a target, and your targets are like 1,000, maybe. I just don't see how you make money long-term hedging. Like with my luck, I would buy NQ long, expecting $1,000 move, and then I would buy it short just in case, and then it would move towards my $1,000, but not quite get there. And if I let it go all the way there and I close my positions, then technically I'm just even on my trade. I just paid commissions to sit there. So at some point I would have to cut the hedge loose and let the winner part of it continue on. And the way I trade, if I were to cut that hedge loose, it would immediately go back that direction, and I would have a loss on both of them. That's just kind of what happens to me. So I feel like hedging would be a difficult way to make money. Oh, I see what you're saying with the hedging. Just going all in on the different accounts. You're either going to blow one or you're going to take a payout from one. And because, see, I'm thinking everything as like a long term, like this is your investment account. You can't just like, start a new one for $200. You got to put your 10,000 in or whatever it is. But in the prop firm game, yeah, I guess you could do that for, you buy a couple accounts for $200 each. And then maybe 5 accounts, pass them. Some of them you blow out. And then once you accumulate a few for that are funded, then you do the same thing once they're almost eligible for payouts, and then you can get some big home run payouts and let the rest blow up, and then just repeat the process. Yeah, that'd be. I guess I could see that happening. Man, it's tough when you're a prop firm because it's a different game. Like people can literally game the system. Yeah, I'm with you, Ryan Brian. Like I have no interest either in gaming the system with prop firms. I think it's almost a disservice to the industry and to yourself because the reality is, I mean, prop firms might not be here forever, at least not the way they are right now. They may go back to the way they were a long time ago, where you would go into a brick and mortar and it was like a whole different thing. But the prop firm game, the way it is now, may not be there here forever. So it's like take advantage of it, learn how to trade properly, learn how to be successful in the markets, so that no matter what happens in the prop firm space, you're now able to transfer all that to a regular broker and start to grow your investments with that regular broker. For sure, just gaming the system doesn't really help you long term, and it hurts the industry in general. Then they start putting on they have to do what they got to do to protect themselves against the gamers, which kind of messes it up for everybody else who's trying to do it legitimately. Not that we can't succeed there, just they have to add certain rules that may slow down our progress to try to protect against the gamers. So I'm with you on that 100%. Yeah, not a bad call. We'll see where it goes. I mean, the overall trend is still down. Yeah, overall trend is still down. It did hit that low, came up to a resistance area, and now it's rolling over again. We'll see if it continues to roll over, or does it start to make higher highs and higher lows. But yeah, right now it's still trending down. We got this green 30-minute candle. The new one just opened. So if this wants to retrace, is that enough to carry momentum to continue, or is this support area going to be strong enough in the 30 minutes to Send a much higher move all the way back up into that resistance area. Yeah, tricky, tricky. But even on the 30-minute, it's still kind of, still kind of in a downtrend still. Even at this bounce, it's still sideways to down. But trading on the 1 minute candle, it's kind of nice sometimes to see what the overall trend is, and then when you're getting it on the 1 minute candle in the same direction as that trend, it just kind of gives a little bit more confidence. But being the 1 minute candle, what I like to trade on, at least right now, it definitely allows me to trade both directions inside a certain trend, because every trend has its ups and downs. There's always green candles on the way up and red candles on the way down, and vice versa. You always get green candles on the way down and red candles on the way up. So if you're trading inside of those, it doesn't quite matter too much. But I think the direction of the trend is definitely more favorable. Yeah, it's good with Apex having that new payout system, because I mean, there's nothing more disappointing than thinking that you're getting this payout because you did everything right and you missed something or you didn't realize something, and then you get so disappointed when you're denied. Like, I can't imagine. So trading's hard as it is, and then to think that you're on that high and then you get denied by the prop firm for your payout. So it's nice with Apex that you can go in there and see how you're doing, how you're qualifying, and all that stuff. Not so disappointing. Yeah, it sounds like you're still in a trade, so hopefully you'll make some more money tonight. That'd be great, man. Do you have like a trade limit, like where you're only allowing yourself to have 3 winners, because then after that the odds could shift? Like, I know with my strategy, once I've taken home 3 winners, it's time, odds wise, it's not going to be successful all night long. So I'm kind of already getting into that zone where I'm going to start having losers show up. Like, I studied it. Like, if I were to trade 24 hours a day every day, what would happen with my strategy? And I found that the results would be the same trading 4 hours as it would be trading 24 hours. I would take home about the same amount once you washed out all the winners and losers. Like, currently my strategy has an 85% winning days that I get to take home at least one. And sometimes I'm lucky and I get to take home three winners. And that's risking, or making like 1.5 to 2 R. So I can still take home a nice, between 1.5 R to 4 or 5 R. Especially if I'm squeezing a little more out on some of the trades. Oh, that's awesome, man. I appreciate the company. Well, hopefully you can close out your night up, even if it's a few bucks. As long as you're green, that would be awesome. Even if it's a small red, that's part of trading, I guess. Yeah, the daytime, I like trading the daytime. It's a lot more volatile. Um, but at nighttime right now is like the only time my schedule allows me to be able to get away and trade. Daytime, I'm busy with kids and other revenue streams and homeschooling and all that stuff. It's kind of difficult to split my focus between trading and taking care of everything else. But at nighttime, it's quiet and I can trade it. It's just a lot slower, not as volatile. Got to wait forever for a setup, and then when I get in a trade, sometimes it takes a while for it to finish. But I guess on the bright side is it's less susceptible to all the different news that comes out with interest rates and all those kind of different things. Nighttime doesn't. It's not as affected by that stuff. Yeah, another bonus about the day, I guess, from a personality perspective too, is like some people are more alert at night. They're more like honed in at night, I guess. For me, I'm more alert during the day, a lot more focused and alert during the day. So yeah, everything about the daytime I love, except just right now it doesn't really work out. One downside to trading during the day, which I was doing when I was just in the regular equities market before I decided to try out the futures thing, is I spent a month and a half in Japan and Tokyo with some like small weekends and stuff like that, like a few days a week here and there, and other areas like Osaka and stuff. Japan was amazing, by the way. If you've never been there, absolutely amazing. The people are amazing. The country's amazing. I love it over there. But then I found myself, because I was trading equities, you're up at 2 o'clock in the morning trading, and then you're getting up early to go do your thing in Japan, and then oh man, it was rough. It would have been nice to be in the futures market back then, just to be able to switch over and be able to trade whenever you want in that 22-hour, 23-hour cycle. But it worked out good because the one night I was trading, I don't know, it was probably 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was awake, so I got to experience a pretty good earthquake. The whole hotel was shaking. It was pretty exciting. But in that moment, you realize, man, there's no time to get out of this building when you're on the 10th floor. All you can do is crack your door and hope the building doesn't fall down, kind of thing. But it was pretty neat. But had I not been trading, I would have been sleeping. I would have never known about it. I would never had a chance to feel that. Or maybe I would have woke up. I don't know. But it was pretty cool. But yeah, with the futures market now, whenever I travel, there's always a time of day that I could trade, which is pretty sweet. Yeah, Europe is really fun too. Like in France, there's a place called the Lori Valley, which is really really neat, where they have a lot of different castles, like chateaus and stuff like that. It's absolutely beautiful. All these little towns built around them. It's really cool. Sweden is probably one of my most favorite places I've been to in the Europe area. There's amazing Stockholm, stuff like that was really 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 beautiful. Like seeing the old cities and the new stuff. And there's a place called Skansen. It's like an island out there where you can see the way, like it's like a theme park, and they have the way it was like a really long time ago and how they used to live out there, all the way to modern day, and it's really really awesome. But yeah, to see the castles and try the different foods and everything, it's so much fun. Just want to take like a car and drive around that place for 4 or 5 months and see all the different stuff. Like start in the south, like in Spain, and just go all the way around it and come back. Yeah, Madrid was nice. I was there for a little bit. We did a little tour around Spain, like Barcelona, Madrid, a little place in the southeast. That was really nice down there. I forgot what it was called now, but we stayed like in a little, kind of like a chateau with a bunch of friends on the side of a mountain down there. It was so beautiful. But Canada's got some cool places too, like Victoria. We've been out to Victoria, really awesome area. It's fun to ride on a double decker bus, stuff that we don't have here. But beautiful, like the gardens that we went to out there was just awesome. All kind of stuff. Victoria was really nice. Yeah, and the photography side of things, if you haven't been there, the Sequoia National Park in California is amazing. And we went there. Was it April? Yeah, in April. We went there in April, and the park, part of the park, one side, I guess it's outside of the park, but it's still Sequoia National Forest, was closed still because of the weather. You couldn't take the roads out there. But on the national park side that we went to, like down in the valley, it was t-shirt and shorts. And then when we got up to the national park area where the sequoias were, it was snow and like the way the clouds roll through there because its elevation so high. Just from I can't like especially if you added some lighting to it, you probably could take some pretty amazing pictures in there. But yeah, Sequoia National Forest is what an awesome place to go see, and it's much bigger than just the areas where the trees are. Like that's the common thing. Go see the General Sherman and stuff like that. But some of the other stuff that's off the path with all the big waterfalls and other types of really unique landscapes are pretty cool to see. You can easily spend a week in that place. Like if you had a camper and just went from place to place. Yeah, from a photography standpoint, you'd probably really like it there. Yeah, I like the more rugged. I like the wilderness and all the different stuff nature has to offer. It's just calming too, just to be out in nature, even if it is, weather extremes and animal craziness and whatever. It's to be out in nature or be in a big city. I'd much rather be in nature. Especially when you get like nice woods with elevation changes and stuff. I'm in Florida, so we don't have like mountains or any of that kind of stuff. So to be out in places where you have elevation change with, those kind of woods and not swamp and everything's so tight you can't even walk through stuff without like having to cut down brush and everything. It's nice just to get out to the actual like big wooded areas. It's pretty cool. All right, so market's moving up into that what should be a resistance area. We'll see if it's going to break this resistance area and start a new trend higher. We got a low, we got this high, we got this low, and it looks like it's failing to make a higher high. But no setups for me yet. Let's look at the other time frames here. Yep, it might be a short zone here. We shall see. What's a 30-minute look like? Yeah, bounce off the support area right into resistance. So 1 hour candle fully retraced. Now the question is, will it look for new highs, or is it done retracing and now it's going to work its way lower? Find out. Do you have a little trend line here? See if it wants to break it or is it going to bounce off of it? And I don't think a trend line is broke just because it went through it. Sometimes it'll wick through there, little tail and wicks. It's when it closes, kind of retests and keeps on going, or just keeps on going, that makes me start to think the direction might be changing. But still no setup for me. All right, so it looks like it's closed below this trend line. It's hard two trend lines because like right now this is a clear trend line, but then if I look at this chart in an hour from now, it might have a completely different trend line that's so obvious. And it's like, why did you think that was a trend line? It was obviously over here instead. It's funny how they can move as the time progresses, but right now it looks like could be retesting back down here. We'll see if it shows up as an M pattern that breaks and then retests the bottom. It's very possible, but we'll wait and see. So right now I got a switch. If this does break to the switch on the upside, if this switch stays flat and it breaks the upside, then I'll be getting in long. Doesn't mean it's going to be a winner. I only got 69% probability there. But if this doesn't stay flat, then I'm waiting for another trade because then my probabilities aren't as good. Okay, so it bounced back up to that trend line. And then we'll see if it wants to poke its head through there and then continue lower. And if I was trading on technicals now, a break below this area, I would be getting in short. But I'm not. I'm trading off my indicator. Just because my indicator is not subjective. My technical analysis is very subjective. Yeah, if I was short this trade right now, I'd be looking for a target of 29,752. With my old strategies, I don't know what the probability is of that anymore. But the way I used to trade this, that's where my target would have been if I was short. We should be looking for a break of this and it coming down to right in here somewhere. That would be my hard target. That's where I would start trailing my stop. And then hopefully seeing a retest of the bottom down here. Whatever it is, I hope you make a bunch of money. Yeah, that'd be a nice take profit somewhere down in that pocket down there. I almost wonder if it gets down there if it would try to punch through just to trip a bunch of stops before coming back up. But that might be pretty nice. Looking at the 30-minute candle right now, so that had that big move up. It's got a big rejection now. Looks like it may be turning red. Yeah, it's looking good. If I was short, I would be feeling pretty comfortable right now. New 30-minute candle is getting ready to open here in about 30 seconds. Hopefully that opens so close to this area right here, it will be enough, just in a little wobble, to push it below here and trigger some stops and maybe some shorts to start piling in as well. But this trend line break is nice. Came down, retested it, and then continued lower. All right, let's see if it'll take out some stops now and add some shorts to the mix. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I hate to get out, and I do it sometimes. Like if I'm going to set it and forget it and walk away and do other things, I'll have my order sitting there and it'll tag my order and get me out. But my limit order or whatever, I like to get out on stop orders. I like to trail a stop because sometimes the market will just rip, and I want to be able to take advantage of that. So yeah, I hate getting out just like on a limit order. I want to get stopped out, trail it down, let it back up, and get me out. But I would imagine with the consistency rules, you got to be a little bit careful, not allowing the market to really rip, and then all of a sudden you have this huge account day that you just have to. I mean, I guess now with the new rules at Apex, not so bad because you just have to wait for your account to grow, and then that money becomes valid. So it's not like it gets disqualified, which is pretty nice. Yeah, that's a good idea. I think I'll do the same thing when I try out Apex. I give it a run. Is like you said, just not even worry about the consistency too much. Just focus on the trading, instead of trying to track it and manage all that, and then just let it wash itself out over time. That's a good idea. With Tradeovate, do you need to get like a third party copy trader, or can you copy trade like different prop firms with Tradeovate, or does that have to run through a thing like a Ninja Trader would have to buy a separate copy trader like a plugin kind of thing? With Topstep X, as long as I'm just trading, with Topstep, I can copy trade on there with no issues. It's pretty easy just to click the different accounts to copy, but it doesn't work like that with Ninja Trader. All right, so we have a switch. If this one stays flat, I'll be jumping in short, but it's got to stay flat. I'll jump in short with two contracts. It'll be a risk of around $900. Yeah, it sounds good. I'll need to find one of those. I don't know if you put in a link to them, but right now the chat doesn't take links. I have to enable all that stuff. But if you like break it up to where you don't put .com in there, it'll allow you to put it in. Yeah, perfect. Oh, I got you. Their name is Trade Sinker. They're just not. I got you. When I saw Trade Sinker, I was just thinking that's what they did. But I will write that down. That's awesome, dude. Like the whole AI thing, if you can learn how to communicate with it, prompt, I guess they call it, and work with it, that's definitely the future right now. Kind of scary to think about. Like, how will that mess up the trading game for everybody? Like, once everybody really catches on to the whole AI thing, will you be able to use AI to start building automated trading platforms that retail gets to play with? And then once that happens, what do they do in the markets to try to protect the markets from AI being able to scalp it? I'm sure the big firms are already doing it, but once retail starts doing it, that'll be a whole different story. Like if I could link up an AI platform right now and just let it watch me trade when I'm losing all the time, just casino trading, just straight up no indicators, no nothing, just trading off my emotions, and then let it learn what I'm doing and then tell it to go make me money, it would probably like dominate the market. I'd make $1 million the first week probably, because it would probably just do the opposite of everything that I've been doing. Like how easy would that be? Just get an AI robot to watch you for a couple weeks and then send it to do its thing. Yeah, it's gonna be exciting to see that evolution. Like our parents, and their parents got to see going from horse and buggy to cars to planes to rocket ships, and we're gonna get to see this whole new AI thing, the machines, the Terminator movie coming to life. It's gonna be pretty neat. Like you walk into your doctor's office, you won't even talk to anybody. You just go into a room. The room will scan you. It'll fix you and send you on your way. All because of AI. I know, like one cardiologist I was talking to a while back. They use AI in their office now. You know, the AI listens to the conversation with the patient, and then it basically takes all the information it heard. It puts its thoughts together, and then shares its thoughts with the doctor, and then compiles all the notes for the doctor. It's pretty wild. Oh yeah, that's a good call on AI with the markets and political leaders being able to use that to kind of project what would happen. Talk about insider trading. That's the place to be. Want to be a billionaire? Go into politics, use AI, and influence from there. Yeah, do that for a couple years. You'd be laughing. And yes, as long as the humans have the final say, for sure. All right, we're getting a switch to the short side here, and I'm mostly flat setup. Um, also looks like we have a new trend line that might be breaking here. Let's see what happens here in the next, what time is it? 10 minutes. We got a new 30-minute candle opening. That's plenty of time. It's a lot of red 1 hour candles at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a lot of red 1 hours. It's a 30-minute. No, that one's normal. Can have a lot more red 1 hour candles. I think it was I don't know, a couple weeks ago. I was looking at, I think it was the Dow Jones, and I saw like 8 30-minute red candles, and I was like, how many more can it have? Like 12 candles later, I was like, how many more can it have? I think it had 15 red candles in a row, 30-minute candles, like all night. Basically, it was red. It was insane. But it's another one of those things where you see like a lot of red, and you're like, how can't go down much farther than that. I'm going to buy the bounce here, and there's no bounce. It just keeps on going. Yep, sometimes you get a lot of trades in a night, and sometimes you don't. What helps me a lot is, I'll show you actually. It's like been a pretty big game changer for me from a mental standpoint. And you can do this with anything. I just use that Excel document, but I'm going to show it to you. So let me show. Let's see. If I first, if I look at my backtest blocks, this is what helps me a lot right here. I look at my backtest blocks and I see that I could take home, if I follow the rules, and I'm not an idiot, which, you know, dumb trading is definitely a part of what I do. But when if I follow the rules, I have the potential to take home 66R. So right now, if my risk is $500 a trade, right now it's actually $1,000, but we'll go with $1,000. That's still $66,000 in 30 days, a month and a half of trading. That's potential. Even if I only reach half of that potential, it's still $33,000 in 30 days. That's awesome. So, and I just think about that, like, if I'm good with those with those stats, why put that in jeopardy? As soon as I casino trade or miss a trading night, really, I potentially start to mess up the statistics that I was good with. So I don't want to put a wrench in what I was good with. And when I get FOMO and stuff like that, I just ask myself, is 66,000 in 30 days good enough? If it is, why are you going to jump into this FOMO and potentially throw that opportunity away? And, you know, just asking myself that question helps me like recenter and be like, okay, you're right. I just got to wait. If I just wait and follow the rules, these results I'm okay with. And then I can go ahead and add that to my scaling ladder because I don't have to stay at $1,000 per trade. Once I get to like $10,000, I could scale this up. And now I could be at $132,000 in, 2 months, 3 months. Is that not good enough? So those little things like that help me stay focused when FOMO's calling, because I do want to get in. Like, I'd love to jump in right this second short. And if it breaks above here, I'd love to just jump in long and just to trade, just to be in the game. But I don't, because looking at this helps me stay focused. One thing I try to be careful of is, like, I like to put my milestones on a calendar and think, by this date, maybe I'll have my first payout of this account. By this date, I'll have this. And I do that so that I can ask myself, is that good enough? Is it okay to wait a month to make $10,000 kind of thing? And of course, the answer is yes. And then that just helps me in the FOMO situations. But what I have to be careful of is when I put in there and say that I want to have a payout on, July 20th, that when July 17th comes around and I don't have enough money to take a payout yet, that I don't let that influence me to try to meet some arbitrary deadline that I self-imposed on myself, right? So I have to, be mindful that is just an idea to give me an idea to let me know if my strategy, my trade plan is acceptable for my personality. And that's it. But definitely keeping an eye on this helps me stay grounded. So now we have another switch to the short side, but it's not flat. And my statistics are based on flat. I did check them based on one bump up, and it's still pretty good, but it's not part of the plan. So just gonna hang out here on the sidelines. But we do have this other trend line right here. The next trend line, if you will, that looks like it's about to break to the downside. All right, if this can hold and switch this flat switch to the long side, I'll be taking a long trade. Looking for a small move to the upside, or probably be, let's see, somewhere around the top of this area here. Would be my target, somewhere back up top here, if this holds. But right now, my eyeballs are telling me it's going down. So one thing Topstep has is this thing called a tilt. Sometimes I look at it, but I don't know how accurate this is. Let's see. Scoot this up. So right here, it's saying that the NQ right now is 44% long and 56% short. Sometimes when I look at this tilt, it makes me think if it's 56% short right now, and the majority of traders are not profitable, then does that mean the correct trade is a long trade? Or is this thing so laggy on the tilt data that you can't really trade off of it because this could be from half an hour ago? Like, I wonder. I've looked at it a bunch and just never been able to really see a good correlation to direction in the market. All right, let me stop messing with this. I think I'm going to be getting in long here for a small move to the upside. Let's see if it confirms. All right, I got 2 contracts lined up. So I got 45 seconds for this 1 minute candle to close. Now jump in long if this can confirm. Nope, gotta wait for the next 1 minute candle. See, close, but not close enough. Yep, just building some energy right here, like you said in the 5 minute candle. Just building it up, figuring out which way it's going to unleash it. Let's go look at the 30 minute. 30 minute just retrace that red candle. So maybe it's done retracing going lower. We shall see. Still in a support area here though that it's got to get through to go lower. What about the 1 hour? All right, gotta go back to the 1 minute. We might be having a trade set up. 10 seconds. All right. I don't want to get long on this trade, but I have to because that's what my system tells me to do. So I'm in long now. Long with 2 contracts in the NQ. Stops at 759. Target 804. Actually, no, it's a little bit more than that. Let me see. 808. If this is a red trade for me, I'll be done for the night. I'm only allowed to have 2 red trades in a night. All right, now. Okay, so basically risking 1 to make 1.6 on this one. And I might be able to squeeze a little more out. Which my target is pretty much the top of this. Almost into this resistance area. Should be resistance area anyway. And it could roll over from there. So I definitely don't want to be greedy on this. But really, I'm kind of short bias on this trade, but my strategy is telling me to be long. So I'm just going to do what it's telling me. Play that numbers game. Once this trade gets into the 799 area, yeah, put it on the chart. Let's see, where are you at? Right here. I'll start to move my stop to break even, plus a couple dollars. Which should also be this resistance area. I'm sorry that your trail got hit on the short play. I still feel like this is a short trade. I'm just playing the numbers right now, so I'm just doing the thing. And if it's a red knight, it's a red knight. All good. Gotta have the red knights with the green knights. Just as long as I have more green knights and I make more than I'm losing, then we're good. That's why I have a trade limit of 2 trades. So if I have two red trades, so if I have 2 losses in a night, then I can still make more in a day than I'm losing. And with my strategy having better than 1R profits, I'm also making more in a trade than I'm losing. So from a psychological standpoint, it works out better for me to do it that way. Not to say it's the only way to do it. I mean, it's not a bad thing to have a strategy where you lose almost triple what you make, but you have 90% winning or 95% winning. So you're still making money in the end. Sometimes I think, like, what if I had a strategy that I had to lose like 9 out of 10 trades to make money, and then every time you got into a trade you're expecting it to be a loser? I'd be like no stress trading right there, as long as the strategy is profitable in the end, having that one winner out of 10. I like to think that there's no one way or no right way to trade. The only, or I should say it like this, the only way I would define a right way to trade is the trade that makes you as an individual money. So if it's profitable for you, it doesn't matter what anybody else says. That would be the right way to trade for you. About to get stopped out. This would be a nice place to add to my position, actually. What's my risk on this trade? 750. I could risk 1,000 per trade. I'm risking 750 now, so I have room to add one more contract. Right. Yeah, I'm going to add one contract. I'm still under my risk. I'm allowed to risk $1,000 per trade. So now I'm risking $860 in this trade. Still under my risk. So in theory, I probably could add another contract to this trade, but we'll just go with this. Where do we put that in at? 64? 64.50. If this will give me a nice boost back up here, I'll take this one contract out that I just added. All right, so stopped out there. So Ryan Bryan, I'm glad you had a green night. Stoked that you had a green night, and then hopefully tomorrow morning you'll have or tomorrow afternoon, whatever it is that you're trading, you'll have a green day, and it'll be nice little bonus money on top of your build on your evaluation. That's going to do it for me tonight, though. That's a red trade. Stopped out, so that's going to put me down. Let's see, what's my P&L on the night? 1583. P&L. Mark this in here real quick. 1583. All right, so I'm. Why did it not go through there? Oh. There it is. All right, so finishing the night down, $1,583. So, like I said, I feel like this is, my eyeballs are telling me this is a short trade, but I just got to trade the numbers, and it doesn't matter what else happens. The nice thing about it is the red knight, and with my strategy, I don't typically have 2 red knights in a row. So tomorrow night is a lot less stress because there's almost no chance that I'm going to have a red knight tomorrow night. I could go much bigger in my account, but that doesn't make sense because I don't know for sure. Right, like tomorrow I could go and double what I did tonight. What happens if tomorrow is a second red night? Then I'll pretty much be on the verge of blowing out my account if I double up tomorrow night. So I try to stick with my scaling ladder, stick with my trade plan, and just slow grow it. You know, I mean, I'm being very aggressive right now with risking $1,000 because of my evaluation account. But once I get to my funded account, I will need to be a little bit more conservative just to make sure I don't end up in a losing streak. There's nothing worse than passing an evaluation, getting to the point where you pass your evaluation, you know, without any losing days, like it's just home runs, and then you go right into your funded account on a winning streak. What do you think is going to happen when you get into that funded account? Losers are coming, you know, losers are coming. And I also find like if I'm having a nice win streak where, you know, I go for 5 days in a row without a loser, then trading becomes more stressful for me because I know losers coming. So, and then once you get that loser out of the way, then it's like, oh, loser's done. Okay, great. Because I hate losing. But once it's out of the way, it's great because now I can look forward to those winning days. So red night tonight, looking forward to tomorrow night and get back on the win. And here we are with NQ. You can see it's hitting this bottom area again, the support area again. We'll see if it breaks through and wants to continue lower. The whole night's been trending down. It is nice to trade with the trend, and I was counter trend trading with that trade. But following the rules, took the loss, and then we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Ryan, Brian, thanks for hanging out with me tonight. I appreciate it, man. I really do. You've been here from like the beginning of my prop firm journey, and I do appreciate the chats and the wisdom and all that stuff that you like to share. So last thing I do with Topstep X so I don't get tempted is I come in, hit that lockout key all day because right now, trust me, I want to jump in short. I want to go all in short and get every penny that I lost back. And that is just a dumb trading way to do it. So locking out right here. Yes, lock me out. And now I can no longer trade this account. And if I was copy trading, I would want to go do that with each account just to make sure that they're all locked out. So now I can't do anything until tomorrow night. I'm locked out. So done and protected. All right, everybody. See you tomorrow night. I'll be on probably about 8 o'clock again tomorrow night. Trade 8 to midnight. Or get my 3 winners or 2 losers, whichever comes first. All right. See you tomorrow night. Actually, let's go look at the stats real quick. Just so that there's full transparency. See, Topstep X is showing that I have 1,000. I lost money tonight. I do not have $1,000 there. But the calendar will be up to date. That's pretty good. So far down on the week, 571 between yesterday and today. And then all these other stats will probably update by tomorrow because there's 2 trades here, not just one. So it's a little slow right now. Or is that just win days? Well, either way, it's a red day. So, but yeah, these will be updated by tomorrow, and then we'll see what those look like. All right, everybody. See you tomorrow.